always on the edge. We fight and make love at the same time. Would you break up just because I told you what I did last night? I recall the times you said you're sorry, but still I'm not sure if you told lies. But I don't care, it's all forgotten now. We're holy when we touch anyhow. Holy when we touch anyhow.
So now we've installed Windows and everything like that, and then you go in there and do your updates and everything like that. And plus, I think I've already talked about it, because what I did is I was waited for a bit, then I got all the software ready, then I had to install a game and everything like that, and it does take time. But now I've got AIDA64 Extreme, and basically this is where you can test all your components, like your RAM, your motherboard, your bus speed, your graphics card, heat distribution over different cores. You can test it for overclocking and all that sort of stuff. Got CPU-Z, so you can have a look at what your components are. I know you can't really see what I'm talking about at the moment, but you will be able to, because I'm going to have the game capture running in the background, so you can see like the temperatures that I'm getting. And if you build in the computer exactly how I've got it here, then you'll be able to work with that as well. So I can talk about the cache, the main board, the memory, the SPD, the graphics. I won't talk about the benchmarks. We're going to do an actual benchmark. We're going to use Unigine Valley, and we're going to use superposition, and then we're going to check the graphics card, because even though this motherboard's not overclockable, you can overclock the graphics card. So we might overclock the graphics card a little bit, and we'll also have a look at the stock. It depends on how much time runs up into this video. I might have to split it down, and then obviously getting Steam as well to obviously download. So I downloaded Tekken 7 off my thing. I was going to get Call of Duty, but I just thought I'd get Tekken because it was easier. And now I've got MSI Afterburner as well, and it's going to have the frame rates per second while we're running the game, to see what kind of frame rates we're going to get per second off a GTX 1050 Ti and an 8350K CPU that's not overclocked, but clocked at 4 GHz and 8 GB of RAM, because it was meant to be 16 gigs. I did nick the white RAM out of my girlfriend's computer, but she's got 8 gig, I've got 8 gig, and I thought it looked good aesthetically, because it's white and black, it looks cool. And obviously the Fractal design, S24 something, whatever, and 750 watts of power supply, which is just your norm. And then we'll go through like how to change the RGBs as well, so you can have it proper gaming and all that. And I might make a further video of like what gaming seats to get, and like gaming tables and gaming keyboards and mice and earphones and all that sort of stuff, so you've got the whole gaming setup. But yeah, right, so now I'm gonna, basically I am going to test the computer, but before I leave it running the stability test, I'm gonna actually show you, because I can't show you until I press record. Right, now you'll be able to see in the game capture, that would make sense. Now, so on here you've got CPU-Z, so it's saying I've got an Intel Core i3 8350K. And it's a non-overclocking motherboard, but obviously I've got an overclocking CPU, and I already explained that, so have a look in the description down below. There is like 3 other videos, I think. So this has got max TDP of 90 watts, and this is the Coffee Lake edition. So Intel's new CPU 1151 socket. We've got, this is clocked at 4 GHz. And obviously can't be overclocked anymore, so we can't go any higher. But we can overclock the graphics card if we need be. So we've got 4 levels of cache. We've got, the motherboard is a B360, so it's not an overclocking one. I haven't updated the firmware or anything like that at the moment. That's gonna be in another video. Got 8 GB of RAM, DDR4, clocked at 2400 MHz. Graphics card is a GTX 1050 Ti, and obviously that's on there. And then I've got AIDA64, because this is what happens when you get your computer and you've got all the gaming running. You basically want to have software so you can check to make sure everything's running right. So everything's on there, that looks legit at the moment. You can even go Control Alt and Delete on your Windows and have a look. Once you get the the anniversary edition, you'll be able to see graphics card come in here, but you can check to see like what your computer is doing at the moment. So if I go to view and I go to what do I go to, logical processors, I've got 4 threads going on. So that means that one CPU is doing that, one CPU core is doing that, one CPU core is doing that, one CPU core is doing that. But anyway, so what we're going to do now is go into Ada 64, which we're already here. We're going to go into tools, then we go to system stability, and then you can see here it's going to show you the results. It shows you CPU any throttling or anything like that, and CPU usage, and this will spike up and down to show you a good reading. I can stress the local disks or the graphics card, and we've got superposition, which we're going to run right now, and we've got a MSI Afterburner as well, but we're not going to bother overclocking the graphics card because it's pointless, to be honest with you. It runs better when you've got an overclocked CPU. Anyway, we're going to go with high GTX, 1080p high, 1920 by 1080 resolution, and we're just going to run it. And yeah, this is what the results that you should be getting from this computer. And if you know what you're doing, you can definitely play around with the settings a little bit more to get a little bit more oomph for your money. Now that score is not too bad for just putting the computer together and going ahead, but this software will rip the crap out of any graphics card. It doesn't really matter, it really does terrorize it. But also I'm only using 8 GB of memory, so that probably would help as well if I had a little bit more. So now I'm going to put it on what you would normally be playing this on a GTX 1050 Ti, which would be medium settings. So I'm going to run the same test again and see what we get then. Right, so as you can see, a much bigger score. I have it on medium settings, plus we're getting a minimum of 15, well, nearly enough 60 frames per second, and that was playable, especially on a decent monitor like this, which is a Zowie BenQ. I'll link it in the description down below. Yeah, this is not done too bad. So now we've kind of know where our benchmark is for stock. That's when you can go into MSI Afterburner, which is this. And you basically go into settings here and then you unlock stuff. So normally when you download it, the core voltage will be locked, the power limit will be locked, but now I can turn things up and then obviously tick and save profiles so I can get like the most out of the graphics card. But I have overclocked many GTX 1050 Ti's and laptops as well. If I can find the videos, I'll link them in the description down below. But at the moment, we're going to just set this up so we can run Tekken on here quickly. So now I'm going to just tick the ones that I want and just tick the ones I don't want. Then press OK. Then get the game up, which is in Steam. Just play. So allow access. Hopefully there'll be a frame rate per second counter coming up. If not, I'll have to go back into the menu again.
Get ready for the next battle.
Looks like I have to go back into the menu. Don't think I entered it in there. So now I'm having problems with MSI's Afterburner software, where you can have the frame rates and the voltage and all that sort of stuff on there. I know roughly what that would be on the graphics card, but it's really annoying that I can't show you on here. So what I'm going to do is just going to show you Steam's frame rate counter at the top there. So just going to load up the game and play it, and then hopefully zoom in and you'll be able to see what we're talking about with the frame rates per second, what you would get from a gaming computer, especially a fighting game. And you'll get average to like Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty and Fortnite, probably get a little bit more higher. Csgo is probably similar as well. But yeah, it's basically got to get all the games and do it on there, but it takes so long to download all these games, it would take ages. So at the moment, total screen's like at 60 frames per second. Well, that's not too hard, is it? So let me play this online, see what we get. Still at 60 frames per second. That was a constant 60 frames per second. 41 frames, 27 frames, 30 frames. Oh, the fire makes it go up 30 frames per second. Or is it just because it's not graphically intense enough? Oh, it dropped down to 1 frame. Oh. Alright, 55, 58. Frames, yeah. Damn. No! 58 frames, can't see in off 60 frames. You'll sit in that corner there. I'm pretty happy with that.
Get ready for the next battle. Round 1. Fight.
You're dead. So yeah, have a look at the game on here. It runs really smooth. So a bit more demanding games might run a little bit lower, but that is pretty decent for straight out of the box. So I'm not going to accept. But now we're going to do a stability test, making sure everything works. Normally you do that when you overclock the computer, but you also should do it to make sure everything's working alright, especially if you're going to work on the computer and stuff like that. So I'll go into ADA 64 Extreme, and then I'm going to go into Tools, and then I'm going to System Stability Test. Then I'm going to run the test. I'm going to run it for like 15 minutes, and that should be sufficient enough. Normally I'll run it for like hours, but as it's been on for hours and I've been playing it all day, 15 minutes would be good enough. Right, so on AIDA64 we have a top temperature of 60 and a low temperature of, no, motherboard's actually 37. CPU core, lowest one's 43, but with a stability test, and this computer's whisper quiet. I haven't even done the fan curves or anything like that, so that's pretty awesome at the moment for what it is. And also got plastic on the side as well, inside the glass and outside the glass. So yeah, that is the end of the little tutorial of how to, once you build your computer kind of thing and get the software on there and all that sort of stuff. I haven't run into any problems really that I can show you, but I know where there is problems, what you can do. So I'll probably do that in another video, and that'll be kind of the last video. Yeah. And then if you want to know about the BIOS or anything like that, then I'll probably do separate videos on that as well, probably in the next build. But anyway, if you like this, you thought it was a helpful tutorial, give us a thumbs up, because if you did, then I will know that it was good enough. So, or if you leave comments down below, I can add that for next time. Or was it too long, too short? Was it in depth enough? Was it not? Was it what you needed? Was it not? Anyway, leave your comments down below, and a link in the description down below where you can buy that motherboard at a good price. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. I'm really hot and sweaty now, but yeah, see ya.